Video games have had a long history with hackers, but sometimes the hackers step on a bit too many toes. So gameranx is here to bring you 10 video game hackers who were sued. Starting off with number 10, a hacker enthusiast was bored one day and decided to see how the RFID bases of Skylander figures worked and how they communicated with the portal and the game. He cracked it all open, figured it out, compiled his research into a file, and uploaded it to his personal site. He didn't post about it anywhere and he didn't tell anyone about it, but then one day he came home to find someone waiting outside of his door.
I've got something for you.
With a legal notice from Activision. It was an angry letter from Activision accusing him of all types of things he didn't do, such as reverse engineering the game, working with others to build an app to trick the figures into working, and more stuff that Activision really didn't have any evidence of him doing. While this one wasn't necessarily a lawsuit, more of a cease and desist, things did get pretty heated here, all because some guy just was bored and wanted to see how Skylanders toys worked. I bet you never thought tweaking some kid's toy would get you in trouble with the law, huh? Even though with this point, it doesn't really seem like he did anything wrong. Sure, he messed with Activision and Skylanders' intellectual property, but he didn't publicly post it anywhere. But hey, I guess it goes to show that the corporations are always watching. And at number 9, some hackers were sued for messing with Xbox games. Tecmo sued an entire community of software tinkerers for reverse engineering, hacking, and modifying Xbox games that were legally purchased. Tecmo was mad enough to launch into a federal lawsuit against 2 people for alleged violation of US copyright law, and even that controversial DMCA, or Digital Millennium Copyright Act. All the 2 defendants did was host a forum dedicated to creating custom content and mods. This was a massive lawsuit though, with 100 other unnamed users also included in the suit. But really, at the end of the day, most of the hacks were just custom skins, and since it was Tecmo games, it was really just nude skins for Dead or Alive Beach Volleyball. Thankfully, the defendant's attorney says that everything that they are doing is under well-established law. You actually need to own Tecmo's product to use any of this stuff anyway. I couldn't actually find what the verdict was with this one, and maybe it was settled out of court, but Tecmo has won other lawsuits for similar conditions in the past. And at number 8, Blizzard sued some Starcraft 2 hackers. A group of Starcraft 2 players created a set of cheats and hacks. These map hack forums were available from a forum, but you had to pay something like $60 to gain access to the VIP section and be able to access these hacks for the game. Blizzard doesn't know who exactly it is that created the hacks and are just going after the entire forum site itself. Blizzard claimed that they are taking action in order to protect the sanctity of the Starcraft 2 experience. Basically what they're trying to do is just fight against cheaters. The hacks and cheats could be used in multiplayer, which, usually ruins someone's experience of the game, and Blizzard just wanted to protect the players. But on the flip side, you could also argue that players could do whatever they want with their product that they purchased. I'm curious to see where you guys side with this one. Is the Valiant Chaos map hack infringing against Blizzard or just the players who play online? And at number 7, a German PS3 hacker actually came back out against Sony over a €1 million lawsuit. A man had his house raided under court order and is being sued by Sony. He made all of his tools and tricks for hacking the PS3 public, and Sony was apparently very pissed about that. He was trying to reverse engineer the PS3 to bring Linux back to the console. You remember that? But like I said, this hacker came back at Sony and he seemed a little amped up. He posted, and I quote, "If you want me to stop, then you should just kill me because I cannot live without programming, HV, and Linux kernel hacking. You know who I am and where I live, so come and get me." That is really freaking hardcore. This guy said a lot of hardcore stuff like that on record, and although he sounds a little extreme, at the end of the day, he's just kind of standing his ground. In this type of scenario, Sony might not really be able to get much out of him, but if anything, maybe they're just going after him and making it a public thing to scare other hackers away. So maybe he was doing the right thing by trying to stick up for himself. But again, I'll let you decide. And at number 6, remember I said there were multiple examples of Tecmo going after hackers that were tweaking the Dead or Alive games? This lawsuit is higher on our list because it was Tecmo versus an actual software company called West Side. They were making and distributing this hack that disabled Katsumi's clothing. In a Japanese court, Tecmo won the case because the hacker provided a tweak that violated the video game character's dignity. He was forced to pay 2 million yen in damages. Dead or Alive creator Itagaki said on record that he actually kind of felt responsible for her and felt like it was kind of his fault that he designed such a, I guess, sexy character that lent herself to being hacked, which is a really weird way to describe things, but hey, I'm not in charge of this. And at number 5, PS3 jailbreaker George Hotz was sued by Sony for reportedly jailbreaking and reverse engineering the PlayStation 3. The hacker in question and a bunch of other forum members were brought up on 8 claims including violation of the DMCA, computer fraud, and copyright infringement, this being Sony. This lawsuit brought tons of scrutiny from the public eye and lots of media attention, but ultimately on record, the hacker and Sony reached a settlement outside of court. The hacker was legally not allowed to hack any more Sony products. This lawsuit got the attention of Anonymous, who claimed it was offensive against free speech and internet freedom. There's speculation whether or not this Anonymous was responsible for the PlayStation Network downing in April 2011, while Anonymous has officially said that they are not responsible. But ultimately, it's kind of a crazy world when Sony can go after someone for tweaking one of their products that they bought. And at number 4, this one's a little crazy. A RuneScape hacker actually stole items to pay off real-life gambling debts. A 21-year-old hacker spent 16 months hacking RuneScape profiles. He stole in-game items like special swords and sets of armor and sold them for thousands of euros. He was earning real-world money from these items. The crazy thing though, because of the time of when this happened and the way the law worked, it was seeing that he didn't steal real-life things, he couldn't be charged with theft. He did eventually hack a RuneScape employee's Facebook account and apologized afterwards, but then he was also arrested a second time for hacking the game another 27 times. Later on, he pleaded guilty to 2 charges of unauthorized computer access, and I think he's the perfect example of playing with fire for far too long and eventually get burned. But the guy was making some bank. Apparently he made somewhere between 2,500 and 3,500 euros. I know they say crime doesn't pay, but I guess sometimes it does a little bit, until you get sent to jail. And at number 3, the company behind the browser-based MMO Evony game, which is basically kind of like a really crappy game of war, was awarded $300,000 from a hacker lawsuit. The hacker was accused of making auto-playing bots and gigantic map exploits in the game. According to Evony, the hacker's map, bots, and entire website of his studio is devoted to infringing on Evony's copyrights and trademarks. The hacker basically didn't really have anything to fight back with. He didn't have an attorney, he didn't file a response to the complaint, so basically everything was presumed to have been true. He also famously showed up to court in sweatpants. Look, I don't want to talk too much smack on this little Evony game, but I feel like if you're gonna get brought up in a massive lawsuit and have to pay over $300,000, you should be hacking a better game. And at number 2, in more recent news, Epic Games is suing the creator of a very powerful hack for the game Paragon. Epic Games filed a lawsuit against a German hacker who created an aimbot, a trigger bot, and a 2D and 3D radar to basically be able to cheat in Paragon. The big problem was that the hacker was selling this hack online for a monthly subscription fee. And funny enough, it wasn't the creating and the selling of the hack that got him in trouble, but it was the 2 videos he uploaded to YouTube that showed what exactly you get with the hack. The videos were removed with a copyright takedown notice, as YouTube usually does, and then the hacker disputed the claims, which supposedly constitutes consent, at least in the District of California where YouTube is located, which is very scary. Currently, this is ongoing and Epic Games is seeking restitution and damages, the cost of lawsuit, and is asking for the hacker's copies of Paragon videos and the hack itself to be destroyed. Epic Games came down on them hard, and it's pretty crazy that the guy was identified through the YouTube copyright system. But hey, I guess that's just the world we live in now, huh? I didn't know that many people were currently playing Paragon already that were willing and able to pay money for hacks, but hey. And at number 1, a 17-year-old hacker from Lizard Squad was responsible for shutting down both Xbox Live and PSN for several days during the holiday season. I'm sure many of you guys remember that. He was caught, and after being found guilty of over 50,000 offenses, he got only a 2-year suspended sentence from a Finland court. The hacker group Lizard Squad took credit for bringing down Xbox Live and PSN, ultimately justifying it by identifying Sony and Microsoft's really shitty security infrastructure. But unfortunately, 160 million kids and adults weren't able to use their brand new consoles that they had probably just gotten for the holiday season. He got charged for a lot of stuff, basically ruining Christmas, and it's pretty funny that he eventually got to just walk away. The saga continues though, because the guy was eventually found guilty for messing with MIT servers and money laundering. It never ceases to amaze me how extreme some people can get. So guys, those were 10 of the biggest cases when video game hackers were sued. Let us know in the comments what you think of these crazy stories, and let us know if you've ever been involved in a scandal like this. We want to hear your story. If you learned a thing or two watching this video, clicking the like button is the best way you can help us out, and if you're new, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.